All right, today you are going to be learning about how to list ordered pairs. So first, I wanted to go over our scale. So 0 is no evidence, and yesterday we talked about our level 1 of our standard for ordered pairs in coordinate planes. And that was to identify the ordered pair on a coordinate plane. And that's what we did yesterday. Yesterday we took ordered pairs, we plotted it, or it was already plotted and we had to put it into an ordered pair, which is identifying the ordered pair. Today we're on a level 2, which is getting us closer to knowing the standard. 2 is being able to list the steps to find an ordered pair. So not only are you able to plot it, but you're able to tell me how you got there. All right, so let's look at some examples. Well, before we look at some examples, let's have a couple reminders. When you're plotting your ordered pairs, you always start at the origin, 0, 0. Okay, always start there. Then you first move across the x-axis. Always, 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 you move across the x first, which is the horizontal. Then you travel up the y-axis. That is always second. Okay, and just a reminder that in 5th grade we're only going to be able to do positive numbers. So we're only moving right and we're only moving up for 5th grade. When you're writing your ordered pairs, they are inside parentheses, always, and the x and a y are separated by a comma. So for example, x, y in parentheses, or if we have numbers, it'd be 4, 3 in parentheses and separated by a comma. Notice our 4 is in the x and our 3 is in the y. X, then y. Just a reminder, X and Y in the alphabet, X comes first, then Y comes second. So if that helps you, remember, in alphabetical order, X is first, then Y. All right, let's look at some examples. So here are our examples. 1, 0, and 5, 6. So if we were listing these would look like this, or something close to this. So for the first one, you might say, I moved 1 right on the x-axis, and I did not move up on the y-axis because it is 0. Okay, so notice that it's basically telling me how you get to your point on your coordinate graph, your coordinate plane. Okay, moving 1 right because it's on the x, and you did not move up because it's a 0, so you're basically staying at 1 on the x. The second one is 5, 6. So you moved 5 across the x-axis and you moved 6 up on the y-axis because 5 is in the x, so we're moving across the x first, and then 6 is in the y, so you're moving 6 up on the x-axis. Notice I put them in the exact order I would go, moving 5 across first and then moved 6 up. I didn't move 6 up and then 5 over. I moved 5 over and then 6 up. Okay, so not only are you going to be plotting points today, but you also are going to be listing what you did to plot that point. So just taking it a step further to be able to explain and understand how you got there. Let's look at 2 more examples. 0, 5, and 10, 3. So before I put my listing up there, I want you to take a second and figure out, ooh, where's my x, where's my y, and how would I put this into words? So take a few seconds. I'm going to pause the video and see if you get it right before I put mine up. All right, let's see how you did. So if we were listing, it might look something like this. On the first one for 0, 5, you'd say, I did not move any right on the x-axis because it's a 0, so you didn't move, you just stayed at the origin, and I moved up 5 on the y-axis. Okay, so you could have also said I stayed at the origin because the x is 0, so you didn't move any, and you just moved up 5. So 2 different ways to say that. Then the next one, 10, 3, you might say I moved 10 across the x-axis and moved 3 up on the y-axis, right? And again, we're always moving right for 5th grade because we're only in positive numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to take you guys through a couple of the things I want you to do for today's work. All right, so let me get to Canvas. So in Canvas, you'll see in your modules, under Tuesday, you have 2 different things here. So you have listing the steps to find an ordered pair, and then you have identifying and listing the ordered pairs. So we're going to look at listing the steps to find an ordered pair first. Okay, so it basically goes through what I just told you. So to be able to be on this step of the standard, you must be able to tell me how you got to a certain point on the coordinate plane. Look at the ordered pair and first plot it on the coordinate plane. Once you have plotted, write down how you got to that point. For instance, if my ordered pair is 5, 6, I would plot it on the graph and then say I moved 5 right on the x-axis and then 6 up on the y-axis. So you're going to try some of this on your own. Now, I have graph paper that you can grab so that you can make this and then turn it in to me. Or you can make this in your notebook and show it to me tomorrow. So, for instance, we'll do number 7 first. So it says to plot each point on the coordinate grid, P, and so you would plot the point and then put P next to it. So, for instance, P is 0, 5. 0 is my x, 5 is my y. So I'm going to go to my origin, which is 0, 0. And since 0 is in my x, it means I don't move any. I stay at that 0. But 5 is my y, so I'm going to jump 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here, where my cursor is, you would put a point and you would put P. Then, on the side, you would write, I did not move any on the x-axis, but I moved 5 up on the y-axis. So do you see how I plotted the point and then I took the time to tell me how I got there. How I got there. Okay, so that's the one example for this. I would like you to do this, okay? Then when you are finished with this part, you are going to go back to modules. And before I get to the next part, you can work with someone on this first step. Okay, on the listing the steps to find an ordered pair, that's fine. You can work with someone. But when you get to identify and list the ordered pairs, that's on your own. I want to see what you know. Okay, so when you get to this one, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to look at the graph in the coordinate plane below and answer the questions that follow. You're also going to tell me how you got there. Okay, so notice this one is already done for you. You're not plotting, but you're looking at where it would be. Okay, so for instance, 13 says, what is the perimeter of a square of side of 2 centimeters? So 2 centimeters, I'd find my length. Here's my length. I would go to 2 centimeters, and then it's asking me what's the perimeter, and the perimeter is on the y-axis, so I would go up to where it meets. And notice right here, this would tell me that my perimeter for when the side is 2 centimeters is 8 centimeters long. So my ordered pair would be 2, 8 inside parentheses. Then I would explain how I got there. I moved 2 right and moved 8 up. Or I moved 2 on the x-axis and I moved 2 on the y-axis to find my point. All right? I hope that this helps, and watch this as many times as you need to. Just remember, when you're listing your steps, you are going to be telling me exactly how you got there. Okay, so you moved how many on the x, and you moved up how many on the y. And friendly reminder, always start at the origin, first move across the x, always x first, then travel up on the y, always second. Alphabetical order, x comes before y, so that just makes sense. Move across x first, then move up on y. When you're writing your ordered pairs, make sure they're inside parentheses and make sure that's separated by a comma. And we are working on level 1 and level 2 of our standard today. So if you're able to do what we did yesterday and you're able to do what you do today, you will be at a level 2, which is about halfway there, even more than a quarter, halfway there to what we need to know for our standard, which is our level 3. So we're almost there, guys. All right, I hope you have a wonderful hour, and I will see you tomorrow.